Okay, continuing on with the second part of this video for solving trigonometries. Now, let's look at this question here. 3 cot square z is equals to cosecant square z minus 7 cosecant z plus 1. Then we're supposed to solve it for the values of z between z between 0 and 360 degrees. What I can do is I can actually convert this using this trigonometric identity here into cosecant as well, where I would have gotten 3 cosecant square is, cot square is cosecant square x minus 1, minus 1 is actually equals to cosecant z minus 7 cosecant z plus 1. Expand the bracket and bring everything over. 3 cosecant square x, supposed to be z, minus 3 minus cosecant square z plus 7 cosecant z minus 1. Now this is supposed to equals to 0. Group up the like terms. 3 cosecant, this and this is 2 cosecant square z plus 7 cosecant z, negative 3 minus 1, negative 4 equals to 0. Type this into your calculator using your quadratic functions, 2, 7, and minus 4. Oh, is this right? 3, 3, minus 4, 2, 7 minus 4. Okay. So cosecant z is either equals to 1 over 2 or cosecant z is equals to negative 4. All right, then from here, I need to change this into 1 over sine z is equals to 1 over 2, and therefore sine z is actually equals to 2. So from here, I'm not going to be able to solve it because once again, our sine graph is only with the limits of 1 to negative 1. So this one, there's nothing that I can do to solve it. But for this next one here, 1 over sine z is equals to negative 4. And therefore, sine z is actually this and this swap positions, negative 1 over 4. Now, if I have this, I can say that I got two values from the negative quadrants of sine, t and c here. Let's type this into the calculator first. Inverse of sine 1 over 4 to get the theta value. Theta is actually equals to, and make sure it's in degrees mode, inverse of 1 over 4, I would have gotten 14.5. Okay, 14.5. To find these two values here, it is either 180 plus 14.5, which will give us 194.5 degrees, or 360 minus 14.5, which is going to be minus this 345.5 degrees. And these two will be the answers for this part of the question here. Okay. Now, moving on to the next two questions. These two questions are going to be the harder ones. That's why I needed to split the video into half so that it would not end up being too long. Now, let's look at this question here. Solve 10 cos square x plus 3 sine x equals to 9. This first question should be pretty simple. Cos square x, change it. So you would have 10 1 minus sine square x plus 3 sine x equals to 9. Bring the 9 over, make it to become minus 0 equals, minus 9, so it equals to 0. Expand this, 10 minus 10 sine square x plus 3 sine x minus 9 equals to 0. Rearrange everything and group up the like terms. Plus 3 sine x, 10 minus 9, minus 1 equals to 0. Type this into our calculator's quadratic function, -10, 3, and -1. So, -10, 3, and +1, sorry, +1. You would have gotten that sine x is either equals to 1/2 or sine x is equals to -1/5. Okay, in which case this question we're going to get 4 answers. Okay, so let's solve the x for this part here first. When inverse sine of 1/2 first, to find the theta will actually equals to, and make sure again your calculator is in degrees, theta is 30 degrees. The second answer will be 180 minus 30 degrees. So it's 30 and 180 minus 30, 150. These are your first 2 answers for this part here. The second part, inverse, ignore the negative, just 1/5 first to find theta. Theta is actually inverse sine of 1/5. Theta is actually 11.5. Okay, so to find this is actually either 180 minus this, 180 minus your answer, you will have gotten 180 plus 180 plus your answer here. So 180 plus 11.5, you have gotten 191.5. And then the second one would be 360 minus 11.5. So the second answer is going to be 348.5. And that's how you get your 4 answers for this first part here. First part is the simple one. If we were to look at the next one over here, this is the one that I find personally it's like a bit complicated. So let's try to solve this. You have 3 tangent 2y equals to 4 sine 2y. What you need to do is you need to change this tangent 2y. Tangent y is actually equals to sine y over cos y, right? So tangent 2y is just going to be 3 sine 2y over cos 2y, and this is equals to 4 sine 2y. What you're going to do is you're going to bring the denominator at the bottom to the right hand side and multiply it. So you have 3 sine 2y equals to 4 sine 2y cos 2y. Okay, and from here the next part is you're going to bring this over and let them all equals to 0. So you would end up having 4 sine 2y cos 2y minus this, minus 3 sine 2y, and is will equals to 0. Now from here, you're actually supposed to get 4 answers as well if it were from 0 to 2 pi, but the limitation is 0 to pi only. What we're going to do is we're going to factorize out sine 2y. Sine 2y is actually bracket 4 cos 2y minus 3, and this equals to 0. To solve this equation, we have to let sine 2y equals to 0 and 4 cos 2y minus 3 equals to 0. Some people might make the mistake where actually from here and here, they eliminate off the sine 2y. Then doing this, you would actually end up with 1 less answer according to your range here. Okay, so don't do that. Try to factorize them when possible. Looking at this part here, solving for sine 2y first. So inverse sine is either equals to 0 or 180, right? 2y is either equals to 0 or 180 degrees. So y is either equals to 0 or 90 degrees. Sorry, supposed to do this in pi form. So it's either 0 or pi, okay? 0 or pi. Then y is either equals to 0 or pi over 2. in which case 0 falls off from the range here because it does not include 0, right? So this answer is cancelled. We only, first part here is y equals to pi over 2. The second one, cos 2y is actually equals to 3 over 4. And then 2y inverse cos this is actually equals to how much? Inverse cos of, make sure your calculator is in radian mode in this case, 3 over 4. You have either 0.722723 or the second cos will be 2 pi minus answer, 2 pi minus answer, 5.56. And these two values equals to 2y. So in this case here, y is actually equals to 0.723 divided by 2. You have 0.362. Okay? Or the second answer is going to be, wait, let me see, 0.362, yep, that's correct. Then the second answer is 5.56 divided by 2, which is 2.78. And from here, you would have gotten pi over 2, type pi over 2 into a degrees, into a decimal, 1.57. So these are your three answers. Y is either equals to 1.57 or 0.362 or 2.78. And they all fall within the range of 0 to 3.141. 3.14. Okay, so these three are acceptable in your answer range here. All right, and one last question before we end the video. First part again should be the easier one compared to the rest. Secant square, I'm going to use this identity rule here to change it. 5 1 plus tangent square x, oh, tangent square a in this case, plus 14 tangent a minus 8 equals to 0. Expand the bracket, you would have, I'm just going to do the shortcut and find the answer, the simplified version straight away. 5 tangent square a plus 14 tangent a minus 8 plus 5 minus 3 equals to 0. Type this into your calculator. Tangent a is actually equals to 14 negative 3. Tangent a is either equals to 1 over 5 or negative 3. In this case here, inverse tangent a, sorry, inverse tangent to 1 over 5, a is either equals to, again, calculator in degree mode for this question, inverse tangent of 1 over 5, you would have gotten 11.3, and the second answer will be 180 plus this, plus 11.3, you would have gotten 191.3. This is your first answer, first two answers. For this second part here, inverse tangent of 3 first to find theta. Theta is actually inverse tangent of 3, 71.6. Now, since it is negative, it is this quadrant and this quadrant here. So when you use 180 minus answer, the first answer for A is actually 108.4 degrees. And the second answer for A, 360 minus this answer here of 71.6. So you will have gotten 288.4. And these will be your 4 answers for the values of A in this question here. But since we have a range of only from 0 to 180, these two answers have to cancel off. And therefore, finally, A is only equals to 11.3 and 108.4 degrees. And these two will be your answers for this part. For this last question here, let's look at what we have. 5 sine bracket 4b minus pi over 8 plus 2 is equals to 0 for the ranges between negative pi over 4 and pi over 4. So what we need to do when we get the answers later is we need to minus our answers by 2 pi. Okay, so let's just solve this like what we would normally do first. Sine 4b minus pi over 8 is actually equals to, bring this over, negative 2, then divide by 5, negative 2 over 5. Okay, then from here, we know that in our ASTC, we are looking for this quadrant and this quadrant here. So first, to find the angles in between, we have to inverse sine 2 over 5, ignoring the negative. And then in this case here, we would have gotten the angle theta is actually equals to, make sure your calculator is in radian mode, inverse sine 2 over 5, you would have gotten 0.411. Let's just give extra decimals, 0.411516, okay? Then this is the angle. To find for this quadrant, it is pi plus this answer here. So pi plus 0.411516. If I type everything into the calculator, I would have gotten 3.55310. Okay, just giving extra decimals. And for this second quadrant, it is actually 2 pi minus this answer here of 0.411516. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to type everything into the calculator. 2 pi minus this answer here, you would have gotten 5.871668 and so on. Okay. Now from here, these two values are actually equals to 4b minus pi over 8. But as I've mentioned earlier, you still need to include the negative range. So I'm going to minus both these answers by 2 pi. And from here, I would have, let's say from this value here first, because it's in my calculator, minus 2 pi, I would have gotten negative, let me just write it a bit lower, negative 0.4115. This value is when I use this minus 2 pi, 871668 minus 2 pi, and use this value minus by 2 pi as well. So 3.55310 minus 2 pi, I would have gotten 3.55310 minus 2 pi, I would have gotten negative 2.7300. Okay, now from here, these are the four values, this, and this are equals to 4b minus pi over 8. So to solve for b value, okay, b is actually equals to this 3.55310 minus, plus pi over 8, divide that by 4. Your first answer should have been 3.55310 plus pi over 8 divided by 4. First answer is 0.986, three significant figures. Second one, 5.87, 5.871668 plus pi over 8 divide by 4 plus pi over 8 divided by 4. This value here is actually 1.57, three significant figures again. Okay, the working, maybe I'll just write it down as well. 5.871668 plus pi over 8 divided by 4. I have gotten this. Do the same for these two at the bottom here. Negative 2.73 plus pi over 8 over 4. Negative 2.73 plus pi over 8 divided by 4. You would have gotten negative 0.584. And lastly, this one here, negative 0.5 0.4115 plus pi over 8 divided by 4, 0.4115 negative 0.4115 plus pi over 8 divided by 4, you would have gotten an answer of negative 4, sorry, not just negative 4, it's negative 0.0047. 470. Okay, so three significant figures like this. And now, looking at all the B value answers that you have, B is either equals to this, 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 or this, okay? The true answer that is acceptable must be within this range here. So let's say we find pi over 4, what's that value? 0.785 to negative 0.785 to positive 0.785, okay? Which these two here do not fall in. These two are out of range. And the only acceptable answer are these two over here at the bottom. So the true answer for B, let me use a different color to indicate, the true answer for B is actually equals to either negative 0.584 or negative 0.00470. And these two will be your answers for the last part here. Okay, this is your final answer for B. All right, hope these videos helped you guys. Thank you and see you guys in the next video.